Good afternoon and welcome to Interac Express, your number one ticket to a job working and living in Japan with Interac as an ALT. Hi, I'm Brian, your host. Today's guest is Gordon. Hi, Gordon.
Hi.
So, Gordon,
Hi,
how are
Brian.
things
My
going?
name is
Tell us
Gordon, and
something
it's
about
nice to be with
yourself.
you today.
Excuse me?
Good, good. Yeah, things are going great. So I've been in Japan for maybe about 25 years, and I'm currently living in Saitama. And I work, of course, with LJC. I work primarily with domestic applicants in northern Kanto and northern Japan, and as well as people coming to us from overseas, from Oceania, Australia, New Zealand, Taiwan, that part of the world.
Cool. What's your favorite part of working with these people from overseas? Did I cut out?
Yeah, I think you cut out just for a bit there, but I think we're back.
Okay, I just asked, what do you like about working with
Sorry
people
about
from
that.
overseas?
Oh yeah, I would say what's really great about people coming from overseas is how excited everyone is. I talked to people who've been thinking about coming to Japan for such a long time, and it's something that they've had kind of on their bucket list. And being able to connect with those folks and make that a reality and bring them over to do such a great job and be part of a community is really rewarding.
Yeah, I think so too. So today I want to talk about
Mm.
an article that I saw, and here I'm going to pull it up.
Mm.
And it's one of those topics that a lot of people like, which is here are some of Japan's most popular snacks with online sales. Okay, we got some cool looking snacks here. Okay, the top 10.
Mm.
Ooh, these are fluffy pancake sandwiches and egg de egg de cha cookies. I've had these egg cookies. They're good. Um,
Oh, look nice.
Maribel's Pandora, nut and chocolate. I haven't had this one.
Mm.
Ooh, pretty. Ice pop de roy, strawberry lemon pistachio.
Those look
Okay,
really
I've
good.
seen this one. This Gyeong cookie tin from Kyoto.
Mm.
Kyoto's got some nice sweets.
Ah, for sure. I think they do a nice blend of Western sweets and Japanese sweets. A lot of blending of flavors. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Peanut mochi. I like peanut, so
Mm.
okay, these ones. Mochi cube. They're big on mochi. Mm.
Hmm. Seems to be catching popularity overseas as well.
Mm. Have you guys tried mochi? Let us know if you have in the comments. Okay, my internet seems to be kind of slow today in Japan, guys. I don't know why. It's not loading so quickly here.
Mm.
Anyways, if you guys want to check out the rest of this article, it's on Sora News 24. It's called Looking to Gift Some Food. Here are some of Japan's most popular snacks with online sales. My favorite one is one they have up in Tohoku from Miyagi Prefecture called Hagi Notsuki. Hagi Notsuki is like a light, fluffy cake, and inside is a custard. And it's kind of like a dome-shaped sweet. That's really good, guys. If you guys go to Interact
Mm.
North and you go to Miyagi or up in Tohoku, definitely try Hagi Notsuki. Gordon, you have a favorite?
Yeah, I would say one of my favorites is Hato Sabre from Kamakura. It's a really
Mm-hmm.
simple sort of like butter cookie in the shape of a dove or a pigeon. Uh, I don't know. It goes really well with like coffee. It's actually one of my mom's favorites. When she came to visit, she bought a big tin, took them home, and now every Christmas birthday, that's the one thing she always requests. Oh, could you send me some more of those? She calls them bird cookies. They're in the shape of a bird.
Really?
Definitely. And then here where I live now, we're kind of known for what we're known here where I live now is for sweet potatoes. And recently, they have sweet potato chips that seem to be really popular. There's always a line way down the street every weekend, people lining up to get sweet potato chips,
Sounds
uh,
good.
which are really tasty as well. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, guys. Well, we're going to go on to our main topic for today, which is the contract and salary as an Interac ALT. It's a popular topic. I know that you guys
Mm,
overseas are looking at different countries and you're looking at what kind of salary and what kind of support and what kind of benefits you can get. And so that's what we want to talk about today. And Gordon, what can you tell us about the Interact contract and about the salary?
mm. No, for sure, for sure. Yeah, so I think this, like you said, one of the most popular questions, and a lot of the questions I get when I speak to people coming from overseas is about the contract. And I think it's natural to be curious and kind of worried about, will I be able to survive on this salary, things like that. So I guess one of the first things to know about is kind of the length of the contract. If you're coming from overseas, depending on when you arrive, is how long your contract would run. But typically, contracts for Interact start in April and finish in the following March. So it's a full 1 year contract. And then if you come a little bit later in the year, your contract would start from that time that you arrive and then go until the end of the school year in March. Um, and then in terms of salary, on the lower end of that, your monthly salary would be somewhere between 210, 215,000 yen a month, which would be on the lower end. And then depending on the position, if you're maybe more on the countryside, maybe it's a driving position, maybe that position requires a certain background, like a teaching certificate or a TESOL or a TEFL. There may be additional allowances that go on top of that. Um, and I
Okay.
think something else that maybe not everybody knows about or is aware of is Interac ALTs also get put onto the pension system and the national health system.
Oh yeah.
So uh, the the company will be covering part of that expense as well, which I don't think happens with all in all cases.
Oh yeah. Actually, I see sometimes a rumor out there about the pension system that
Mm,
the rumor goes that the company is supposed to pay 50% of the uh, I'm going to say fee or charge for the monthly
mm,
uh, payments of the pension and insurance. My
mm,
understanding is that there's a total, and the company pays 50% of the total, and then what's
mm.
left is the premium for the individual.
That's right.
Whereas I think the misconception is that there's a premium and the company pays half of the premium.
Mm, mm,
Whereas what really happens is there's a much larger total and the premium is half of that.
mm. That's true.
Have you heard anyone, say that kind of thing before?
For sure. I think it's definitely it can be hard to kind of piece together the exact meaning, especially if you're just reading something online, and especially if it's been translated or you're not quite sure of the source. But you're right. There are a lot of misconceptions about how the pension system works and how the insurance system works. So I would say definitely, if you are applying to jobs, whether it's through LJC or somebody else, it's really a good idea to talk with your recruiter if you have any questions about the pension system, and get it from a solid source rather than try to parse things together from different sources on the internet.
Sure. Yeah, that's a good tip, guys. Always talk to your
Mm,
recruiter about anything.
mm,
If you're going to go and put it on Reddit or some forum somewhere, you're not going to get the straight answer. You're going to get somebody's opinion. Or it might not be very accurate. Um,
Mm,
so you were talking about the allowances and so on, and I guess that a
mm,
person's Interac ALT salary can get up to like 240 or 250, depending on where they are.
that's right.
Yeah. So if
That's
you see
right.
the,
Yeah, I would say. Mm,
you'd say,
I would say, especially if you're in one of those more rural positions that maybe require driving or teacher's license, things like that, the allowances add up fairly quickly when you're in one of those sort of special positions.
yeah. So for you guys out there that are either willing to take a more remote assignment, which are great. I had one,
Mm,
and
mm,
our driver, I drove as well. Um, you can get your salary number up there. If you're gonna ask for
mm,
Tokyo or Osaka or something like that, you're going to be double whammying yourself. One is you're going to be looking at higher cost of living, higher rent cost by 10 to 20,000 yen, maybe, and
mm, mm,
then you're going to be looking at a reduction of allowances that you could get. If you take a semi-rural or rural area, you'll have a lower cost of living and probably
mm,
higher allowances, which would get you more money every month,
mm.
right? I
And honestly, probably a better quality of life.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely cleaner,
Mm,
nicer people.
mm,
Probably, yeah. A better
mm,
food. I'm surprised
absolutely.
actually at the cost of living. I'm living in Chiba, and I'm looking at something like a head of cabbage is like 200 to 300 yen, depending on the day, right? But
Mm,
sometimes I get my wife's family to send me vegetables, and
mm,
they just put them in a box and send them, so they don't take the price tag off or anything. And I'll see that from Miyagi Prefecture, in a rural area, the cost of a head of lettuce or a head of cabbage is 120 yen or 150
yeah,
yen. So it's
definitely.
like
It's so much
half
cheaper.
half of the cost that you'd pay
Mm,
in a suburban area. In the countryside, you'd be paying half of that. And like I know like my
mm,
mother-in-law, she gets fruit and vegetables for free sometimes, even
mm,
from farmers or people she knows. I got a bunch of apples recently that way. They were really, really good too, better than apples that I could get here. That's another thing you don't consider
mm,
in a more rural area. Actually, the quality of food is better because
mm. True.
it's not being transported, right? And the
Mm,
locals take the best stuff for themselves first, I think. Especially an item where they
mm,
can't make a high premium on it, like an apple or cabbage. If it were, something like some fancy melon that they could sell for a high price, or like beef or something, they'd rather sell that in Tokyo or Osaka to get a higher price. But
mm,
they're in their town, they're going to keep the better local stuff for themselves. Um,
mm.
yeah, guys, I
I
would.
think, yeah, I think too when you
No, go ahead.
I
Sorry,
was gonna
Gordon.
say, I think too when you go out to rural areas, oftentimes they also have a like a farmers co-op, a JA co-op, and lots of really small farms. People who really can't produce enough for the big market will bring their produce there, and so you get locally grown produce for super cheap. And it's nice because you know exactly who makes it. It's often your neighbors or people in your community. We're lucky enough to have a JA here. We do all of our vegetable shopping there. We can get eggs, we can get vegetables, and they're all grown right here in our own city. for super cheap, way cheaper than you can get at a regular supermarket, and oftentimes from people who have just very small, small fields, and they don't really produce enough that they could sell them to big chains.
You might have uh, your teachers at school actually selling there
Mm,
from
it's true.
their family farm or plot or whatever. It's
Mm,
entirely possible. Um, Guys, I think you need to think about the cost of living. Um, One thing we see a lot is people overseas look at the cost of living or the salary offer, and I think they have a notion of Japan being really expensive, probably from the 80s or 90s
hmm
kind of bubble period. But that's not really the case these days. Like, the rent's really low,
mm,
compared to, and I'm from California, and rent's like $2,000 there in the city. And
mm,
you could get a place for $600, like 60,000 yen here. It'd be perfectly good. But for
mm,
$600 in California, in a city where I'm from, it's going to be almost nothing. And it's going to be really in a bad condition, in a bad location for $600. Not near
mm,
anything you want, right? And probably near people you don't want to be near, right? Um, Whereas, that 600 would get you a nice place right by your station, probably
mhm.
easy walking distance to a convenience store and a supermarket and everywhere. So first thing, guys, is think about the rent. The rent's a lot cheaper.
Mm,
And, we were just talking about the cost of food. With your rent and food, you could probably easily, a single person could easily live on 80 or 90, under 100,000 a month. And then the rest of your salary would
absolutely.
be discretionary to do different things with.
Mm,
We have some articles about this, about cost of living on the blog. So if you go to our site here, interactnetwork.com, and you go to our blog, there's an article about the cost of living comparing versus the U.S. We're working on one right now, should be coming out early next year, comparing Japan and the UK. If you have any questions about it, drop us a line. We have a chat window on the page. You can put your name and your email in there if you want a personalized answer. If you don't put your name and email in there, we can't get you an answer, right? Some people do that. I can't help them, right? So go to our chat window and put your name and email in there, and we will get you an answer. Or drop us a question here in the comments. I see one comment. Let's see what that is. Question here in the comments. I see one comment. Let's see what that is. Wait a second. This is on replay. Sorry. Oh no. It's on replay, yeah. Oh no. It's on replay, yeah. Sorry, technical difficulties, guys. Sorry, technical difficulties, guys.
I think
Okay,
Brian, you were
it
mentioning
stopped.
rent and things like that. There we go.
Sorry about that. It started looping back. Yeah, I'll get to the question later. The comment on this later. Sorry for that. Um, Anyways, check out our site interactnetwork.com. We're also on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube as well. You can look for Interact, or Also, for us at Link Japan Careers, we have on all those social networks as well. So go there, like, subscribe, share with your friends. But interactnetwork.com, our website's always going to be your first stop, right? So definitely go by and check out the page and check out the blog. And if you have a question, drop us a question, no problem, right? Okay, guys. Well, we're going to wrap up the show today, and you guys have a good New Year's, and we'll see you next year. And go to interactnetwork.com and apply for ALT jobs in 2023, and we'll see you over here in Japan. Gordon, thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Brian.
Yep. And that's it. Okay, guys, we'll see you next time.